Hey, this is Notser, and this is World of Warships Blitz. This is going to be 7-on-7 and a 6-minute battle format. Very bite-sized chunk of warships for those who maybe are waiting in line, on the train. They can't be at their PC and play. I'm going to introduce the UI, and I'm going to talk about the game in general. It is available in select regions for the iOS and Android marketplace. And you can tell select regions because I am connected to it. I believe it's somewhere in Asia, Southeast Asia. Look at the ping I'm getting. Somewhere between 300 and 450. So if you see ships doing really quirky things graphically, it's probably because it's desynced. The ping is just so far away. If anyone's ever played a multiplayer game and you need active, real-time actions communicated to a player and the ping is this bad, it's just gonna be really graphically glitchy and weird. They're gonna take U-turns and stuff like that. I can't control that right now. It's a limited release, even for me. So I just want to communicate that. So let's go through the UI, and then I'm gonna bring in my point of view along with the game. It'll be out of the way so you can appreciate the game, but also see how I'm controlling it. Top left, minimap, same sort of thing. The dotted line is detectability. It blooms up to your max range a little bit. You've got obviously your max range of your main battery, your torpedoes, and your secondaries. I'll talk about that a little bit. Is a solid line. Friend, foe, all that sort of thing. Also, you see aircraft. There is a detected icon on the screen, just like situation awareness. If you set a target on fire, there's a nice fire icon above them to communicate that. You get a little metal, and yeah, there. That's a perfect example of the ping communicating that a ship is going a completely different direction, and I can't control that. That was a very sharp U-turn. We've got a little chat window with quick chat for affirmative, attack the target, that sort of thing, protect me. Bottom left is the control. There are two types of controls for your ship. You obviously can set stop, half speed, full speed, or go back, which is convenient. In this particular control setup, you have to have control all the time of your rudder, and that becomes a chore and a quick action for me particularly. You'll see the alternative control scheme that I think works better for my playstyle. Maybe it'll work better for you, but this is more familiar for World of Tanks Blitz players. And then let's move to the center. It's the same reload cycle that you expect from World of Warships. It'll tell you how long it takes for your main battery, your torpedoes, your secondary. You've got your repair surfaces for damage control, and I want to say if you lose your steering or your engines, there's a separate one to keep you going. And you might notice when I'm zoomed in, there is a little 3D rendering of the ship. That's to tell you where your angling is in relation to the enemy ship while in binoculars, because clearly you can't see your ship. In order to access the zoom, you use the binoculars on the bottom right corner, and just to the right of that is the fire button. You do the exact same thing that you would expect in World of Warships PC platform. You double tap to fire all guns. You single tap to fire them one at a time. You get the idea. Above that is your weapon toggle. You toggle between main battery, secondary battery. Yes, you can fire, and you will be expected to fire your secondary battery if that's appropriate for your ship. And then you can toggle to your torpedo systems. On top of that, you can change AP versus HE, which is really nice. And you will be expected to make full use of your ship, whether it be a battleship or a cruiser. If it's an AP scenario, you want to fire AP. We hit the enemy. There's ribbons. There's indication for fire, and then above that is number of bases captured, number of ships killed, and then your settings. So we're going to bring in my point of view, which will be useful for you to see. And this is me controlling exactly what you see on screen. And you can tell my grip is reasonable. You know, you've got your thumbs on the bottom part of the screen. I can make out very easily what I'm trying to do. If I want to access the team list, you go to the top right corner with the gears, and you press it. It's just next to the gears. I think it's like trophy. It looks like a trophy. And yeah, we've taken out quite a bit of the enemy team. There's only an aircraft carrier left. And there we go. The game ends, and we're successful in the Phoenix. One of the few times I do feel successful playing this Phoenix. Let's check out the Wyoming. It is the Tier 4 American battleship. So the differences you're going to see, I'm going to be using the alternative control method. Also, you will notice that there are obviously no torpedoes on the ship. We've already got AP loaded. And you can toggle between your main battery and the secondary battery. Yeah, that's pretty cool. So the control surface on the bottom left is akin to setting a heading, setting a speed based on how much you drag it away, and it will try and complete the turn necessary to get to whatever set heading that you've selected for the ship. You can still play with it. You can move it left to right, port to starboard in real time, so you can still have access to that quick turn left, turn right method, but obviously if I just want to be a little bit lazy and have an angle set for the future, this would work out better for my playstyle. So just like the full game, the Wyoming is extremely slow. Extremely slow. And yeah, you're going to have to deal with that. You're going to have to deal with that. Enemy Tenryu is point blank on a couple friendlies. We of course missed. I need to give a little bit more lead, and the aircraft are overhead. I haven't figured out a way to target the aircraft, so I'm going to assume that the AA just works automatically to defend yourself. And we're going to try and set up on this Phoenix. He is coming towards us, and we shot a little too high. But since he's coming towards us, we could afford to switch to secondaries. I'm trying to get those two middle guns. Again, it's the American battleship early tier. You know the deal. Those middle guns are just not as easy to use as you would like. And I really kind of like this idea that you can control your secondaries. It is a unique part of the game. Oh, we got a Citadel there. And just keep toggling back and forth. You don't interrupt your reload cycle by using your secondaries. It's just something to keep you going in combat. And it's pretty cool. Come on, finish him off. There we go. We took him out. Cool, cool, cool. Now, the secondary guns have a far, far smaller range than the main battery. And I didn't really want to have to use my main battery against that guy, but it was getting kind of ridiculous how close he was getting. There's always a risk that the ship will indeed take damage, and I would prefer not to. Now, you'll notice that fire icon. There'll be a flood icon too that's over an enemy, and I kind of like that. I've always wanted some sort of communication for your teammates about floods, fires, cooldowns that are really important, like radar or hydroacoustic, and I think there could be some way to bring in the World of Warships Blitz icon system into World of Warships, the PC version, in a way that communicated that, and it was easy for you to see, and it didn't interrupt your view or something like that. Maybe a smaller icon, obviously, for PC, but just a little icon over friendly, and it would give you maybe a countdown for when the ship is going to be ready to use Hydra, or if it's up or not, or whatever. Clearly, I'm engaging this enemy cruiser, and obviously I'm waiting on my guns to reload. That's one of the things that the battleship has in its favor, is it allows a person to decide who they want to shoot at next. Just like in World of Warships, the PC version, each class plays very differently in every single combat scenario. If I'm close to a destroyer, in a destroyer, it's really a knife fight. If I'm a battleship, I want to get distance from that target, because inevitably he's going to send torpedoes at me, and I don't want to deal with torpedoes in a battleship. Enemy aircraft carriers love to drop on battleships. They're not going to really go after the enemy destroyers because they're just so hard to get to drop on, you know? So we're headed over to the enemy aircraft carrier, and I'm going as fast as I possibly can. I wish that the American battleships were quicker, and thankfully we're close enough that we can actually see the enemy aircraft carrier, who is not moving at all, and let's be real, even if he was moving, it would appear that he wasn't, because the Langley can go a max of maybe 14 knots. We don't get a citadel, but we do shove in a large amount of damage. And I'm just waiting to get a chance to kill this guy in another shot. If we land all our shots, we should be able to kill him. Yeah, there we go. We took out the enemy aircraft carrier. Didn't have to waste another salvo, although I could have switched to secondaries at that point. Let's go check out the destroyer. Now, this is the Clemson. If you're not familiar with the Clemson, it's got 2 torpedo launchers on its port side, 2 on its starboard side. It feels really rewarding to control the Clemson, honestly, but it is hectic, to say the least. It's a very different playstyle from the battleship, from the cruiser. It's just, you got to see it and experience it for yourself. I love it. I've always loved the destroyer playstyle, but I could understand if people were like, you know what, Notser, this is honestly very difficult to control. And people do slide by. So what are the differences beyond, obviously, the visual and the control surfaces? You don't really collide with islands or friendlies. You sort of rub up against them quickly. It is a 5-minute match. If I was locked into every island that I ran into, I would probably be locked in for maybe 30 or 40% of the battle time, because I'm just that much of a failure. We land a little bit of our torpedoes. There is a risk at this close range that the Isokaze is going to use his torpedoes, so I'm trying to angle and predict using the port side as well, because we're cool like that. We do have port. And there we go. Okay, so here's how it works when you collide to an island. You sort of rub up against it and move away. Is that an authentic solution? No, but I think it's the right solution for people who are just looking to try and do a little warship game in 4 or 5 minutes, right?
Locked on.
Clearly, you should take collision damage. You don't do that in the PC, and you're not going to do it in a mobile game. Our torpedoes are reloaded or ready to go. We're going to try and get it on the Kawachi. And use the indicator, do all the things you want to do. I could switch to AP if I wanted to. Oh, big AP shot. He does a little bit of damage to me. One UI element that I completely overlooked. Your health is above your main battery torpedo secondary selection. So keep that in mind. Your thumb might block it sometimes, but it's just above there. Just pay attention. And yes, I know, gosh, you're extremely pale. I'm a gamer, okay? I stay inside all day making videos for all of you. I hope you can appreciate the sacrifice I've made. So World of Warships Blitz, mobile game. It has all of the Japanese, all of the American mainline ships that you would expect. The alternative line, you know, the Japanese destroyers, I don't think they're in yet. The plan is, from the developer's mouth, they would like to have a regular update cycle and bring in ships that you're familiar with from the main PC platform. These models are, they're sort of a stripped down version, clearly because it's a mobile game, but they can definitely take stuff from the main game and make use of those assets to some extent, and they definitely want to try and hit the big notes. So any really big and important launch, like the German battleships or maybe the British battleships, when those things come in for World of Warships, the main platform, the mobile platform is absolutely excited to bring it in a reasonable amount of time. And these guys, I've heard them, they've said, we want to get this out fast and furious. I don't know how much I can tell you, but just understand that they definitely want to keep releasing ship lines in a rapid succession, so there's always content on the mobile platform for you as well. Just more stuff to grind, right? World of Warships. I'm almost done with the main game, and now you want me to get all the mobile unlocks too. It's tough to have developers like Blizzard, Wargaming, Riot Games making all these free-to-play games with tons of content coming. It's like, this is great, right? PC gaming in general has never been better. I am so excited for the future, and hopefully Blitz is at least interesting for you. You know, you ship fiend. that you want to grab it whenever it comes to your region, or be resourceful and get access to it. I'm not going to openly sponsor that, but as long as you know what you're doing, you can find a way to get access to it. One thing that I haven't shown is the port, and we're going to check that out real quick as I send torpedoes towards this enemy aircraft carrier. But the port works very similar to any other wargaming product. You can see the 3D render of the vehicle. In this case, it's a ship. You have access to what they are using as gold. Doubloons is the gold equivalent in World of Warships PC version, but gold has been the standard currency for conversion of dollars or pounds or euros. You've got silver, which is obviously credits, and then free XP. You can apply free XP to any ship. You have your first one of the day. You've got to purchase ship slots, all that stuff that you expect, tech tree, and there are daily and weekly missions similar to World of Warships to get you to play and to get you to earn that currency so you can speed up the unlocks just like any other wargaming product. I hope you've enjoyed seeing World of Warships Blitz. Let me know in the comments. Developers will be reading these, feedback, all that stuff. We appreciate it. I hope you all have a fantastic day, and I'll catch you next time.